Not all statues are great artistic marvels. Some are so strange they leave us more confused than delighted. Let's take a trip around the world to discover 10 of the most mysterious statues that range from beautiful art installations to amazing jokes planned from the past to scare us in the future. Number 10. Timuhua statues. While there are a lot of instances where weird alien-looking statues are made by ancient civilizations, the statues of Timuhua are something else. Located in the Pacific Ocean, the island of Nuku-Hiva is home to statues that have recently made a buzz in the archaeological world. The statues were most likely used for religious practices. They seem to depict some sort of reptilian, bug-eyed creatures whose eyes seem to stare deeply into your soul. According to recent studies, the first settlers came here over 2,000 years ago, which makes the design choice of these statues rather odd. While of course theories have already circulated about these statues being depictions of our omnipotent reptilian overlords, the most likely conclusion from an archaeological perspective seems to be an act of imagination from the settlers coupled with a great degree of isolation. Whatever the case, you have to admit that these things look creepy. I'd worship one of those the moment they materialized in front of me. Number 9. The world's oldest statue. Welcome to your nightmare, folks, because this thing has stood the test of time and is here to haunt you and outlive you. Dubbed the Shagir Idol, it's estimated to be 11,500 years old and is the oldest known wooden sculpture in the world. The idol was discovered in 1894 at a depth of 4 meters on the eastern slope of the Middle Urals. The statue was extracted in several parts, and while a few of the segments have been lost, they were all documented through drawings by Professor D.I. Lobanov. The messages that are carved on the statue fragments remain a complete mystery, and they're also coupled with weird lines dotted all over the fragments. While a lot of experts have analyzed the statue, very little progress has been made to decipher the encoded messages. Number 8. Denver Airport statues. Denver Airport is a mysterious place. It's been a central component of numerous conspiracy theories, and not just because it's in a relatively unimportant place. The reason why an airport is on this list is because it's full of mysterious statues and symbols that even contain the mark of the Freemasons. The airport houses many creepy statues, the most infamous of which is the Blue Mustang, which watches over the airport with its glowing red eyes. And yes, they do really glow, but it gets stranger than that. The statue is infamous for actually killing its creator when it fell onto him at his studio before the statue was to be positioned in the airport. Another striking statue at the airport is a slab that commemorates the creation of the airport by a group that calls itself the New World Airport Commission. Now, you might notice that the name doesn't sound familiar at all, and that's probably because the organization doesn't even exist according to public records. While all of these sculptures are mysterious and spooky, due to the sheer amount of other weird murals and paintings surrounding the whole place, there are 2 possible explanations to the whole thing. Either the Illuminati is tired of hiding and wants to play a guessing game with everybody, or the more likely explanation is that interior designers are weird people and you should stay away from them. Whatever the case, keep in mind that Denver Airport has a very low incident rate, which probably means that the statues are doing something. Number 7. The Georgia Guidestones. This statue was commissioned in 1980 by someone who goes by the pseudonym Robert C. Christian and is said to represent a group that planned the erection of this monument for 20 years. Not much more is known about this group, but their 10 guidelines can still be seen on the Guidestones, which basically gives a list of instructions for creating a new society after an apocalypse written in 8 different languages. This has led people to believe that the Guidestones are set by a shady group that wishes to destroy civilization and create a new, more obedient one, and because of this, the Guidestones have been defaced twice in history, calling out the New World Order. Sadly, the Guidestones probably harbor a much sadder and darker story. Due to the year of their construction, they were probably made as a warning to survivors of a potential war between the US and the Soviet Union. Number 6. The Easter Island statue hats. While you might think that the hats on the Easter Island statues are just the cutest things ever, they actually reveal some interesting facts about the island's past. According to researchers, the hats seem to be made of red scoria, which is a type of volcanic rock which was reinforced by the additional discovery of a road which was used to transport said materials. But what is most amazing here is that the quarry, which is found to be at Punapau, was also used as the main production site of the statues themselves. But even with this revelation coming to light, we still have the Pyramids of Giza problem here. No one actually knows how they transported all of these things into place. My best guess? Those things are alive and walking, but are just damn stubborn. Before I reveal the next example, you should subscribe if you're enjoying the video. We upload amazing fact-filled list videos daily. Also, make sure to click that bell icon to stay updated, or you'll regret missing out on some amazing knowledge that could have filled your brain. Now let's get back to it. Number 5. Sculpture of DECEBALUS. The sculpture of DECEBALUS is located near Orsova in Romania, and it depicts the last ruler of the Dacia Empire, King DECEBALUS. The sculpture was commissioned in 1994 by Iosif Constantin Dragan, a wealthy Romanian businessman, and the task of its creation was assigned to Mario Galati, who spent a decade creating it. While you might think the sculpture was commissioned to honor a great king who fought and died for his people in 106 AD, the statue actually had a different purpose. Iosif was a leading figure in the so-called proto-Cronism movement, whose agenda was to present Romania as the major cradle of civilization, which Iosif described in detail in his book Neo-Thraci, translated to We the Thracians. But political agendas aside, the statue is a truly wonderful piece because it immortalizes King DECEBALUS' stare across the Danube, along with a plaque that commemorates his final defeat. Number 4. The Colossal Statue of Shapur. This statue depicting King Shapur I is located in the creatively named Shapur Cave, deep in the Zagros Mountains in Iran. It was built to commemorate the Sassanid Empire's second ruler, who is credited for bringing the empire to its peak of success after leading a successful military campaign against the ever-expanding Holy Roman Empire. The statue is sadly in a very bad state due to years of theft, vandalism, and just general bad luck. In its prime, the statue was said to be incredibly detailed and was actually identified thanks to the level of detail done on the crown, since every emperor had a unique one. An interesting note here is that despite the statue being known amongst the local population ever since its creation, nobody knows who actually created it. But even though the person is anonymous, the sculptor is considered one of the greatest in the ancient Near East. But even though the sculpture remains a mystery, we at least know who the Burger King mascot is based off of. Number 3. Walking Town Center Statues. A series of larger-than-life statues have sprung up in Walking Town Center in England, prompting massive confusion amongst the public. The most notable statues are a man in a black coat that greets passengers leaving the local railway station, and a woman at the Peacock Center that looks slightly uncertain in her surroundings. The statues have ignited conspiracy theories on Facebook as people try to connect the design of the statues to the living styles of walking. But the conspiracy theories have all been shattered after it was discovered that these statues are part of an advertisement that promotes the work of Sean Henry, which is an internationally renowned artist who is in fact a local of the town. After the artist's stunt had been revealed, people started praising the statues for showing the town in a positive light, and they have now become somewhat of landmarks in the town center. To be honest, this town seems to be a really nice place. Number 2. Irish statues of women. Hundreds of stone carvings have been found in Ireland that depict women brandishing their private parts, and they've remained a mystery for years. The statues, dubbed Sheila nan Gig, seem to have originated in Europe and arrived in Ireland around the 11th century, but the reason for them is still unknown. Historians are split on the whole thing, but the most prominent theory here is that the statues are pre-Christian fertility symbols that are tied to the mother goddess. In fact, the Irish Heritage Council has created an interactive map in order to crowdsource findings of these statues and hopefully come up with an explanation as to why people in ancient Ireland were so perverted. The explanation of the carvings would be a huge significance to the understanding of Irish history, because they would give clues as to how women were treated back then. But honestly, I think that these carvings are in a very dangerous situation because they're one presidential visit away from being grabbed by the Okay, next entry. Number 1. Aliens in Scotland. Back in 2013, a story on social media erupted over a stone gargoyle that appeared on a 13th century abbey, which seems to depict an alien from the movie with the same name. While gargoyles automatically conjure up images of weird bat-like things or the Disney cartoons, you'd be pushed to imagine that one of them by a church would resemble the works of H.R. Geiger. The reason for this is sadly not an alien invasion of Earth, but rather a stonemason having a bit of a laugh. Back in 1991, the 11 out of 12 statues that decorated the abbey had to be taken down due to them being in a horrible and crumbling state, which prompted requests for a rework of the missing gargoyles. The contracted stonemason had a sense of humor and was probably working on the statues around the release of the first Alien movie, which prompted him to make a joke and scare us future dwellers. Some experts believe gargoyles are popular on churches because of the widespread belief that they protect against evil spirits. Luckily, the city was not enraged at his action, and now the alien gargoyle proudly watches from the abbey and attracts loads of tourists, which leave the place delighted. Thinking about it now, this could be the start to another Aliens movie. Excuse me while I write a movie script with Mr. Schwarzenegger. Which statue did you think was the strangest? And would you like any of them to decorate your home? Let me know in the comments down below, and thanks for watching.